Yes, people, hope everyone is doing good. Leeds United need a striker, in my opinion. What do you guys think? But I think we need a striker. And let me just clarify one thing real quick. Matteo Jose should not be written off. I'm seeing a lot of people writing him off. Personally, I don't believe that. If you do, that's fine. I don't think he should be written off in any way, shape, or form. He's a young man who's very inexperienced. There's a lot of learning to do. And for me, he has a high ceiling. Whether he will reach that or not, this is football. Who knows? I think he will, to some extent, obviously. I think he'll have a good career. But right now, in the short term, I think we need another option to what we have. Joffy will probably be moved out. Bamford is not really an option and will probably be moved out. If not, he's still not an option based on his injuries. And then you left for Joe Perot, the goal scorer, and Matteo Joseph, the young man. I think we need someone with a combination of, or similar to the attributes of Joe Perot in front of goal, but also has that energy, that tenacity, that good work, that good movement, that physical side of a profile that can have a bully a game in tight spaces, be a really aggressive box mover, or be someone that can move in behind and create gaps and stretch the defence. I think we're missing that type of profile. And I think some of these players, or these players that I've chosen, can do that. Hear the names from around the leagues, as you guys know, the usual thing. You know what the colours mean by now. The green means the more realistic, the more deeper red means less. So some of these obviously are not going to happen, like Casper Dolberg, for example. There's not a player Leeds United are probably going to sign. The L means loan. If there's an L in brackets, means loan. And NW at the end means new, so you're probably not going to get them. But here are the players. There's a lot of them. There's a lot I think are very good. There's a lot I think could help. There's a lot I think maybe not ready, but I put them there anyway. Good players here. Again, going through the leagues. I like Scandinavian strikers. That's a bit of a... There you go. I like Scandinavian strikers. I think they work in the Championship. I think they have all the mentality attributes and all the psychological attributes as well as the ball playing skills. I just think, generally speaking, I like them. I like them a lot. The first player on the list is Eric Botheim. Now, currently plays in Sweden for Malmo. Did play in Italy. Has really, in the last kind of 18 months, found his confidence again as a striker. He lost it in Italy. He was in a very poor side, and he really lost his confidence. But now I'm looking at a player who has found that confidence and found 5% more in his performance to really up it. I just really like how he's developed into this decisive mover, this really aggressive striker that can find spaces in the box and finish the ball. We'll get into the stats and everything about him. Like I said, 25 years old, plays for Malmo, is a Norway international, as you can see him in the picture. Has got an appearance for Norway, his national team. 1.87 metres, so he's a very relatively tall striker. Right-footed, centre-forward, out-and-out centre-forward, doesn't play anywhere else, can't really play anywhere else. He is a centre-forward, he's a striker up top. That's what he is. Look at the heat map. Look at the box. That's what I want to see. That's what I'm looking for. As you can see as well, he is a player who can anchor the team. He can sit there. He can do 1-2s. He can create little minutes, little moments of build up. You know, and get the ball deeper. He's a quick decision maker, and this is what I like about him. Now, quick decision makers are good, but also if you're a quick decision maker, but the decisions, generally speaking, are not executed well, you can be a bit. You can lose the ball a lot. You're not really thinking. But instinctively, he's a quick decision maker, and those decisions tend to be relatively successful. So whether that's he drops deep and then goes into the box, whether that's he decides to go early, whether he decides to hold the ball up, I like his decision making, and I like his movement. Those are two key attributes of him. You can see just how central in that box he finds himself. He's a bit of a poacher. He finds the box. He's always there. He's one of them people. Look, his goals might not be spectacular, but if that keeper parries it in the box, I don't see us, Leeds United, currently this season, getting on the end of it enough. I don't. I feel we're a little hesitant. We're not as natural or experienced in the box to find them spaces. And he's always there. Now looking at his career, as you can see, there is improvements. Didn't have a good time in Italy, out here. But as soon as he went back to Scandinavia, he went to Bodo Glimt, so in Norway, 46 games, 22 goals, 10 assists, and then now at Malmo. So Scandinavia is where he's really got his career going. Was at Italy, then went, I believe he was at Borglum before Italy, then went to Italy, struggled, went to Malmo, and now he's on fire last season, and this season has just started into it. It works differently. It starts in January. But he's a good player. He's developed into a good player. He's a player I think could be key for Leeds in just getting them goals. We brought him in January. I honestly think he could get around 10 goals in the second half of the season. He's just that type of striker who just has a really solid fundamental base around him. You know what you're going to get. You know he'll find space in the box. You know if you put it in there, he'll be there. So here are the player's key strengths, in my opinion. I put poaching. Now, he's all about, and read there, movement, poaching. You can tell the type of striker he is. He's a player who can finish the ball, who can poach anywhere in that box. If that ball's in that box, best believe he will make the right moves. He will find the spaces. He will be there. He will be there. Any second ball, he's there. He's an instinct for it. He's a goal scorer. Now, what I will say, just to kind of contradict a little bit, he isn't necessarily the most clinical player in terms of he's not going to get you 30 goals a season, in my opinion. I think on a good season, he could probably get you 20 goals. But what I will say, he brings a lot into the game. He is a guy who will find the box. He's not someone who's going to create loads of chances in terms of getting the ball around the box, taking 2 or 3 men on, or hitting one in the corner. He will score goals that are relatively simple, but he is in those positions always. And that's something I like about him. He makes the right moves. He makes the right decisions. That's a key thing I have to stress. He also gets assists as well. He's got a few assists. I think got 6 assists last season. So he's involved in the build-up. He can, like I said, he can anchor, he can drop deep. He can link the play up. He can find that little pass at the edge of the box, just through if there's wingers moving beyond or the 10s moving beyond him. He's a good player. He's one who's found his confidence, like I said. He's a goal threat, definitely, goal type. He scores with his head. He can score with either feet. Like I said, anywhere in that box, he'll get something on it and it'll go in the net. One-touch build-up, something I like, something I think we need better. I think Matteo Joseph can do it, but again, with his age and stuff like that, there is consistencies in his first touch at times. This guy's just decisive and quick and clinical. Even Pro has that issue at times with his first touch where he just goes 5 meters ahead. But you kind of get in the picture of what he is. He's also, in terms of a physical profile as well, he's not necessarily lightning quick, but he's quick enough over a short distance or 10, 15 meters to make a movement, make a run, or if he needs to during a counter-attack, make a sprint into a space. That's what I like about him. I think he'd be really good for Leeds. I really do. I think he'd be an excellent signing for Leeds United, if I'm being honest. Is he ready for the Prem? I think there's questions there, and I think there is potential. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. This all depends on the player. Has he learned since his time in Italy? I think he has. I think he looks a better player, looks more confident. He's the type of player, for me personally, where, and this might sound stupid, but he's better with better players. If you give him chances, he will score them. If he's in a game and maybe has one chance, and he's not really in the game, he's not had many touches, where he struggles. But if he's in a game that you're dominating the ball, and you're giving him 3 or 4 chances, it's likely he'll score 1 or 2 of them. But yeah, I like this player. Here's just some of his stats real quick. As you can see, just from last season, 30 games in the league, 12 goals, 6 assists. Very, very solid numbers. This season, obviously, it's just started. The league hasn't even started. It's the Europa League. He's got 4 goals in 6 Europa League games. So that's a higher level, generally speaking. He's starting to play, as you see, Champions League qualification, 6 goals, 6 games, no assists, 1 assist, no goals. But that's because the teams they're playing. And as you can see, per minute stats is a joke. Goals per minute there. You can see them. I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But I just want to clarify this as well. 62 shots, 12 goals. Look at the goals there. Look where they are. Shot accuracy 47%. Very good. Very close. 6-yard box. Tap-ins. Anywhere central down the middle of the goal. He's going to get a shot off. Feel free to go through and read the stats. But that's him. Let's go on to the next one. Number 2. And the second one is Matthias Kitsgarden. Or Kitsgarden. I've looked at pronunciation. There's like 4 different ones. So anyone from Denmark, please let me know. But I think it's Kitsgard or Skitsgarden, one of the two. But anyway, this guy is. I've gone ambitious for this one. This guy's a very top player in my opinion, who can play high. But anyway, plays in the Danish league. Very diminutive, aggressive, quick, decisive player. I like him a lot. Now, I've got preferred foot right, but best believe this guy can use both feet very well. He can play on the forward line anywhere, but I prefer him as a centre forward that can drift. He does drift. He does drift out wide, which, again, depending on which 10 we have, could be really good. Because if we have a 10 that attacks the box, you can make a 2 up there with this guy running in behind, and the 10's more of a big physical player. I think it's dangerous. Very dangerous. Let's get into it. Now, he is wanted by Celtic currently. They've been linked with him for like the last 3 transfer windows. They've not got it yet, but they've been linked with him. He's a good player. Very good player. This one would be a very statement style signing for me. This one would be very statement, in my opinion. And I mean, just look at his numbers. 110 games, 37 goals, 17 assists. I mean, it's very impressive. He's a guy who equally shares goals and assists. And for a striker in our system, but not only there, in our kind of generation that we're in, you don't really see, apart from the odd occasion, obviously, strikers who are getting just goals this year, this generation. It's all about the systematic play that they can play in. And look at his numbers as a centre forward there. It's an absolute joke. Very good numbers. And again, heat map. And we'll get into this. You can see the pockets he picks up. This guy reminds me a lot of, in a certain way, and let me clarify, in a certain aspect of his play, is the way Pukki played under Daniel Farke. I think he's got a higher ceiling than Pukki, although Pukki did it a little bit in the Premier League, so that is disrespectful, I apologise. But he's younger, he has a higher ceiling in that sense. What I absolutely love about him, and it's similar attributes to the previous player, Botheim, but he's a different player, and that's a key part. A lot of these guys can do similar things that we're missing, but they're different. Because every player is. This guy is short, but he's stocky, he's quick, he's powerful. And I mentioned Pukki because this guy is unbelievably good at running off the last man, finding spaces. His movement is excellent. He honestly, off the ball, he moves a little bit like Dan James in the sense that he makes that decision early. He just goes between that gap. You have to find him. If you put the ball behind the defender, he will be there. He will get there, 100%. And that's what I absolutely love about him. He is very tenacious. He's very aggressive with the ball or off the ball. He makes those decisive movements. What I like about him, he's not a guy who just sits central. He can move wide. He can create combination play in wide areas. But then when he's made that combination play, you're exploiting that gap. Boom. And I can just envision in my head him creating combination plays with the likes of Solomon, Ramazani. It sounds good to me. And then you've got him on up front, and then you've got Dan James on the right. That is absolutely deadly. That is unbelievably deadly. But anyway, finishing. And what I mean by that is the variety in his finishing. It's an absolute joke. And let me show you something. Left foot. Now we go on one more. Right foot. Header. Head. Right foot. Left foot. Right foot. Left foot. Header. You get my point. He has such... Honestly, for someone that is so small, his jump reach and his aerial aggression is excellent. Because he attacks the ball with so much power and tenacity and pace that he just gets absolute rocket headers. It's excellent to see. And again, look, let's just clarify. These are not all goals, these are shots. But the point being, and again, go look at all these goals, there is so much variety in the goal scoring situation. Like I said, finish tight, pace direct, creative. He gets assists too. Whether that's crosses, whether that's balls across the box, balls in behind. This guy, for me, if I'm being honest, would be the perfect profile. If I'm being brutally honest. I think he would. He'd be very tough to get. He's valued at around, I think, about 9 million. You probably have to pay a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know how money works. I don't care. I know Celtic are in for him. I think we can compete with them. I know they have Champions League, but we've bought and been competing with players from that before. I think we can. We are close to Prem. And players see this, and they think they can be the difference maker to get Leeds United to Premier League. I think we can. We've got to be ambitious. And this guy would be a very, very, very ambitious player. But one I think is there, if I'm being honest. I think we could get him. I don't know. Maybe that's naive. I have no idea. But he's an excellent player. Excellent player. And here are just some of his stats. I won't go through them. I'll let you see the numbers. They're ridiculous. Goals and assists. The 90s. Again, I've already gone through this. The shot map. The variety as well. Boom. Number 3. Now this one is probably the most interesting one on this list. He's a very rogue shout. I like to put these in, and I just wanted to put him in just to make it a little different. And it's Jacques Suey. Now, you probably know who is that. He plays in the French second tier. Now, I had no idea who this was until relatively recent. Since then, I've been doing my research. I've been watching as much as I can. And I like him. I like what he can become. He's linked to Werder Bremen in Germany in the top tier. So they need a striker. He's getting on the radar. He's a later bloomer. He's doing what he should have done 3 or 4 years ago. Here he is. He plays to, obviously, going up in the second tier in France. He's 23 years old. He's 1.87 metres, so very tall. He's right-footed. He can play centre-forward or the cam. But this is the key part. He was a centre-forward early on in his career, but he's now turned into a striker. And since this season, when he's played in that striker role, he's scoring goals and he looks a completely different player. As you can see from the build-up position, he's a guy who likes to drop deep to link the play up, but also a guy who likes to crash the box. This is a very new one. This is a guy who's suddenly on an up trajectory very quickly. Sometimes those are the ones you have to look out for, because you're asking yourself, in that, if you can improve that much in that short a time, how much can you improve in a year? Have you finally found your mojo? Have you finally found your potential? And as you can see from all these stats, he's not a player who's played or been prolific in any real season until this one. But it's happened quickly and it's happening a lot. And there's so many players that go through this. And this is what I mean. This is a rogue one. This is a risk. But having watched him, I'm not just looking at trajectory. I'm looking at watching the player. There's key adjustments as to why. And that one, for me, the key reason why, he has played a lot deeper in his previous seasons. He played as the 10 predominantly. I just don't think... I think he was potentially not necessarily the creative player in that role. I don't think he was as tidy on the ball in that role. But what you've got him at the 9 is a big, strong, physical and quick player. He's very big and strong, but he's very quick and direct. And a guy who's shown that he can finish. And then for a number 9 that can run in behind and hold play up, that's what you're asking for. He's got the experience of playing in the 10, so he can still do little bits holding the play up and build the ball. He can also get in the box and score goals. And as long as he's the man in the box at the end of it, he'll score goals. And that's what he's done this season, and he's been deadly. He's been deadly in my opinion. Like I said, key strengths, goal scoring ability, shooting volume. He shoots a lot. He gets a lot of shots off goal. Aerial dominance. Which one of our strikers is dominant in the air? Get that ball in the box. Unless he's free and he's lost his man. How many headers do we actually score? Next to nothing. Off the ball movement. Like I said, size, power, pace. He's different to the other options in the sense that he's probably not as... I don't know if technical is the right word. Not as tidy on the ball. Right? He drives with it. He might lose it. A bit like Rutter did in that sense. He's not as good as Rutter. Let me clarify. But you know the way Rutter would drive with it and he'd lose it 3 or 4 times, but then 3 or 4 times he'd get away with it. It's a bit like that. He's not as technically good on the eye as Rutter. Not as tidy on the eye. and probably more raw than the other guys we've had in this list. I like him. He's a very good player. And you've got to be careful because, like I said, quickly now he's had a good half season, and there's 3 or 4 teams that I've seen already online in top tiers, so Bundesliga in France, that are looking at him and want to sign him because they understand and they've watched the profile of player, the physical profile he is, and how quickly he's adapted to the new striker role that he's only been in for a few months. That makes people go, "Ooh, we've got something here." I think, like I said, he's a tall guy, over 6 foot, but he's also strong, but he's also quick, and he can finish. When he's played in that role in front of goal, he's shown he can score. His movement in the box is very good as well. Now you can see, as I said, playing in the 10, playing up front, 17 games, 9 goals, 2 assists. That's 11 goal involvements in 17 games, having just played in the striker role this season. If we don't get him, and people say, look, he's short period. Trust me, that's what you've got to look for. You've got to look for that trajectory. So many strikers or so many players just go like that in a season. They find something, they find it, and they finally realise what they are as a player and how they can be best suited on the pitch. And he's found that, trust me. And I think this could be the start of something that sees him play and score consistently for a few years. I genuinely do. Got some FB ref stats as well, finally. Not obviously they weren't for the other players, but as you can see, his all-round play is relatively decent. We know about the goals. Again, I mentioned the total shots there. He gets the shots off. He also gets assists. Decent passer, but the main thing about his passing that I absolutely love, and this is what happens when he drops deep, is the progressive side of it. As you can see there as well, progressive passes. Relatively good passer. Doesn't always come off. Can be a little raw, building up. I think he's best when he's in space and then can give it out wide and then drive into the box, as opposed to being in tight spaces. I think that's where he's best. So then again, counter-attacks, transitions, killer. Shooting as well, as you can see. And look, aerial duels at the bottom there. Aerial duels just at the bottom. Can't see it because of the thing. Very good in the air. Again, this was a 10. Now he's found his way as a striker. Scores goals, gets shots on target. Again, another key thing. So, right, shooting, are they on target? I always ask our players just to hit the target. It's a very common thing that happens, but it is so key. Non-penalty XG as well. So his goals aren't really coming from penalties. Let you guys read through all these. I've told you the profile that player he is. Feel free to go through. Again, look at the progressive stats. I love progressive stats. The carries as well. Carry distance. It's all there. It's all around. You can envision the type of player he is, hopefully. Passing ability, decent. Passing distance, yeah. It is a good area. He's a good player. He's on a trajectory. Very quick one. How far can that go? That's the question the recruitment team will be asking. Some honourable mentions or ones to watch. Luis Suarez, not that one. Is at Almeria in the Spanish second tier, where we bought Large Members Army from. Now, the reason he's not in my list because I don't think he's viable. They're at the top of the league. He will be in the league next season. He scored 16 goals in 24 games, and I believe he's got 6 assists. So this one would be an absolute joke for signing, and I don't think they'll sell him. I don't think we'll buy him. But he's a very good player. I just wanted to put the name out there. Casper or Thor. What personality. This guy is a guy who, again, found the right system for him. He's an aggressive striker. With personality, with passion, with desire, with tenacity. He looks like a type of guy who will drag you through a game if he has to. He will find them moments. He will massively annoy defenders. I like him a lot. He was going to make the list, but he just didn't. Yusuf Silic, one to watch. I put him in another young striker. One to watch. Big guy. Quick, big, strong. Can score goals. That profile. One to watch. Final 3. We were linked with this guy, Yusuf Arabi. We were linked with him. And I like him. He's very similar to some of the other names we've got in this list. Very small, stocky, but a good player, good creator, good goal scorer. But yeah, I put him there. I like him. We've got Ragnar Ache. Great name, by the way. Unbelievable name. Scores goals. Been in the Bundesliga 2 for the last 2 seasons, or more than that, but the last 2 seasons in the Bundesliga 2, he's absolutely bagging them in. Again, he's a big physical guy who can score a variety of goals. Good box movement. He was one that, if I didn't go rogue with the first shout, he would have made it in. But I went to go rogue. And then Danny Manasso, I've already spoke about Danny Manasso. I just want him at Leeds United. I think he's an excellent player. Whether that's the 10 or the 9, I don't care. Get him in the team. If Leeds United signed him, I'd be so happy. I think he's absolutely class. But yeah, because he was in the last video, I didn't put him in this one. But there he is. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who would you guys choose? I appreciate all support as usual. Genuinely, these videos take a long time. A lot of it's passive because I just watch the football when it's on, find the streams or whatever. But thank you so much. I appreciate everyone. Any names? As you're watching this, I will go through the comments of the last video. See you guys in a bit. Thank you so much for the support. You're all legendary. Bye-bye.